guys? Welcome back to the Wall Street Bull. Anthony here. I hope you're all doing well and staying positive out there. It is never a dull and boring moment in crypto, finance, or the stock market. That is why I love doing daily market updates. Now, today I have had some spare time, so I did a full video, which is nice. I've been doing a lot of short form content, YouTube Reels, TikToks, all of that stuff. It is quite time consuming, and it's a very challenging time in Australia at the moment. Everyone's dealing with a cost of living crisis, the interest rates going up. It's a disaster. So the pressure is on, put it that way. But anyway, we're going to go over the news today. Coin market cap, earn curve, obviously my spot crypto exchange. Going to go over, of course, the bots that I've currently set up on a long-term grid, because again, we're still very early in this space. Obviously working on our updates on Octobot. We'll get into that. XRP utility debate reignites as old emails resurface. We're going to have a look into this. Of course, XRP ETFs beat Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's fascinating. We've got Bitmine chair Tom Lee shrugs off the Ethereum treasury loss, which is interesting, asking if ETFs should face the same scrutiny. We'll see what happens with that. Michael Burry has resurfaced again, and he's flagging a death spiral after silver liquidations beat Bitcoin, which is interesting. Kathy Woods from ARK Invest is loading up on Coinbase and, of course, Circle. There you go. As fear grips Wall Street, I see this as opportunity. We've got the CFTC's C-League right here. Says that new crypto bill would make US gold standard for regulation, which we're all waiting for, of course. The NASDAQ price prediction tech rally builds on PMI strength. We'll have a look at that. And, of course, all the news on X. Let's get into it, guys. Massive shout out and thank you to every single one of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel and, of course, my social media pages. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you are new, smash the subscribe button down there and turn on that little bell notification, because you can see on the screen, I love documenting my journey with investing with cryptos, dividend stocks, growth stocks, talking passive income, building financial freedom, and of course my goal at the end of the day is to build generational wealth. So come along on this incredible journey. It is an incredible journey so far. Also, if you can give this video a thumbs up, watch it straight through, it would really help me push this channel out to a lot more people, because the YouTube algorithm is absolute magic when you find ladies and gentlemen do that. So make sure you give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. Also, a little disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and due diligence with this stuff, right? I don't want to see anyone get financially hurt. That is why my number one golden rule is I only invest what I can afford to lose. And yes, we don't like to lose. You can lose money like that in the blink of an eye in crypto and, of course, any other investment. So be careful. Right, formalities are out of the way. The post tab, I did come up with an AI strategy that would give me some pretty awesome way to update my audience on news on the community tab. So first up, digital wallets will hold totality of people's assets, says Franklin Templeton. And again, a major asset manager warned that digital wallets will ultimately hold everyone's assets and individuals as tokenization and programmable money accelerate, forecasting a wholesale rerouting of custody, payments, and fee structures that will force institutional overhaul and push regulators to act. That is bullish, in my opinion. Another one today, Bitcoin will massively outperform gold in the next 10 years, says Pantera's Dan Moorhead. I agree with that. And a high-profile crypto fund executive forecast that Bitcoin will greatly outperform gold over the next decade, pointing to persistent scarcity and rising adoption, continued institutional flows. We'll see where this goes. Crazy. I saw this one as well, but Solana forecasted to hit $2,000 in 2030, despite the recent plunge to 100. And again, it's very interesting. I don't know. Let me know what you think about this. I got this news article today. I posted it up. It's very bullish I got into Solana when the collapse of FTX happened years ago. That was, UST, I should say, collapsed, and Solana, gosh, that was a buying opportunity I was waiting for. Bitwise, again, the crypto bottom is near. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. I'm really curious about that. I don't know. It's been a very brutal last couple of months, put it that way, in crypto. So many ups and downs. It's nuts. MetaMask is huge. This is a huge update. I don't use MetaMask. I don't recommend anyone uses MetaMask, because mine got hacked and all of my assets were stolen out of it because of malware on the PC. So again, just do a quick malware scan, clean your computers, guys, your PCs in particular. Very, very important. And yes, Bitcoin is literally the most oversold on the RSI indicator in the last 5 years. And that's crazy. There has to be a retracement back up to the upside. It just has to happen. I mean, look at that. There has to be a bounce back. Look at 2020. Boom, straight up above the RSI there on the 70 level. Back down 2020, what are we, 22 and 23. Bear market stuff. 24, President Trump coming in, went up like crazy. And then, of course, pulled back, and now here we are. So, very interesting times that we're all in. Now, coming over to CoinMarketCap. Again, it's well below that $4 trillion high, $2.58 trillion. ETF inflows, though, we did have $561 million going into Bitcoin on the 2nd of February. Nothing as yet. So we'll see what happens. $0 at market open yesterday, which is interesting. Fear and Greed Index sitting at 14. This is opportunity. Not, again, that's just my opinion. I like to buy when the market is down. Facts. Bitcoin's at $76,000 today. Ethereum $2,277. XRP's $1.60. Solana's at $97. Wow, that is wow. Dogecoin at 10 cents. Cardano sitting at 29. Chainlink $9.67. Stella's at 17. Litecoin sitting at $60. Sui sitting at $1.13. Hedera's at 9 cents. That's cheap. Quant is down to 67. My entry point into Quant back in 2021 was $60. So I'm almost at break-even point, put it that way. VeChain, gosh, that's in the pennies, which is nice. XDC, 3 cents. That is a gem, in my opinion. Now, thank you for those of you that have signed up to EarnCurve. I appreciate it. Finally broke over that 800 registered users mark. So thank you very much. There's a lot of you that are trading and a lot of you that aren't. If you're not, jump on, start trading on it with Octobot, guys. Set up your long-term grids. Grid bots as well. It's really, really cool. I am working on something very, very special with Octobot. I'm trying to anyway. There are some complexities on getting the integration happening, of course, with Octobot in terms of the trading and what I want the software to do. They're an incredible team, really great guys that I'm working with, and it's very exciting. And stay tuned for this because it'll literally be the first. If we can make it work, which there's going to be a lot of testing, if it can work, of course, it'll be revolutionary in this space because it's going to allow a little insight, your principal capital that you invest not to be touched. And yeah, it's going to be incredible. So I'm really excited about it. I am working on this. The market's down at the moment. So again, it's perfect time for it, right? But anyway, go trade and get set up on Octobot and EarnCurve. Join the mailing list if you haven't done that. The full video on how to set this up is here on the website, earncurveinvest.com. Link is below in the video description. I will pin it as well. So make sure you go do that. Now, just a quick one, guys. There are so many spam comments. It's hard for me to keep up and manage all of it. So I try to put filters in, but sometimes they get through. So yeah, I'll just only click the pinned comment, all right? And of course, the video description, very important. I did set up some grids yesterday on Octobot. Just looking at my camera right now, I've got some, of course, set up on XRP. That is a given. As you can see right here, the 4th today, there has been one buy order and one sell order, and it's just trading for me. Now, again, this is on a long-term grid strategy. So the grids are larger, creating more opportunity. Back up to $2.88 is the highest sell order that's placed in the order book at this point in time. There's 32 trades placed. Coming over to Octobot, as you can see right here, if I go to my bot set up and running, if this wants to work, I can't see. There we go. The long-term grid's down 3.38. XRP one right here, that's a long-term, 0.52 it's down. Solana's 3.5. We've got the Ethereum long-term, 1.2. And Chainlink. So I've got 4 grids running at the moment. I'm going to let them trade for me. I've got 300 USDT in, of course, XRP Navigator bot. Bitcoin 346 US and 96 in Solana. I'm just letting them trade because it's done with artificial intelligence with trailing up on a long-term grid strategy. So As you can see, it's already doing it for me right here. There's been 2 trades made. Really simple, right? Go join up. Link is below. Stick with me on this one, guys, because again, the update that I'm wanting to bring with Octobot onto EarnCurve is going to be awesome. It's happening. There's a lot of technical knowledge behind this that needs to be put into place and make sure it's all, working fine. Definitely going to be testing this out myself on my own account and with the Octobot team. If it can work, which I've been told by the powers above that it can and that it is going to be happening. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, moving on, XRP debate right here. A decade-old email just reignited, again, one of the cryptocurrency's longest running arguments as XRP price expectations clash with the XRP ledger's original design. Now, this is interesting. Developers and analysts are stepping in to clarify what actually matters and to whom. The result is less about the price targets and more about how global payment rails really work, which is why we're buying these technologies, right? Hence, the community is trying to make it clear on whether XRP is supposed to be an investment or an invisible infrastructure. Which is interesting. And the latest debate traces back to 2013, an email from Arthur Brito, where he described XRP as a hidden plumbing, a bridge asset users wouldn't need to think about if better routes existed. It was Panos Maracas, forgive me if I'm pronouncing his Mekres, the co-founder and CEO of Andos Finance, a fintech company building a financial super app and on-chain neobank on the XRP ledger, who started it all by sharing the letter in an X post on the 29th of January, which was only a couple of days ago. The point wasn't price dismissal, but design intent. The XRP ledger was built as a currency market plus payment network, where assets compete on liquidity and spreads, not hype. In that model, XRP is optional, used only when it offers the most efficient bridge. Fascinating. And a distinction resurfaced when commentators argue that such statement imply XRP can't rise in value. Others push back, saying that the interpretation confuses transaction mechanics with long-term market dynamics. David Schwartz clarifies liquidity question. Ripple CTO legend again stepped in to clarify what price is less important than spread actually means. For users converting, say, dollars to euros, the decision to route through XRP depends on far more on liquidity depth and spreads than an XRP's normal price. A higher price doesn't actually help payments, and a very low price can actually make XRP more expensive to use due to the slippage in capital inefficiency, which is interesting. This is what he said here. What he means is that if you don't care about XRP at all and are just trying to, say, convert dollars to euros, then doesn't make sense what he's saying, whether you would use XRP as a bridge currency will depend much more on liquidity of XRP than its current price, which is interesting. Now, again, I'm not going to get too much into that, but what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. ETFs, XRP outmatches competition, which is beautiful. I love it. But you can see here, so value shows that the Bitcoin spot ETFs have predominantly been in the red for the past several weeks. Feb 2nd was a proper exception right here with more than 560 million entering in the funds, which we just saw. However, the previous business week saw them more than $1.4 billion in net outflows, which is crazy. February 3rd was another painful trading day yesterday. And of course, with $272 million being pulled out. Given the cryptocurrency's recent price decline, ETF investors' holdings have dipped below their average cost basis for accumulated Bitcoin for the first time in 18 months. It's a brutal time. Moving on, we have, of course, Bitmine Tom Lee shrugging off Ethereum treasury losses, asks if ETFs should face the same scrutiny. We'll see what happens right here. These tweets miss the point of Ethereum treasury. Bitmine is designed to track the price of Ethereum, outperform over the cycle, think up ETH. Crypto is in a downturn, so naturally Ethereum is down. That's true. Everyone's freaking out right now. They're all panicking. And of course, you've got Michael Burry now flagging something. This is the guy, the big short. When the real estate market collapsed, he made billions of dollars. We'll see what happens here. Silver-linked liquidations briefly surpassed Bitcoin in the last one crypto exchange during last week's sell-off, highlighting how tokenized metals can drive market stress. Michael Burry described the episode as collateral death spiral, such dramatic language, in which falling crypto prices are heavily leveraged for selling both digital assets and tokenized metals. The turmoil showed how crypto platforms now function as 24/7 macro trading venues, where shifts in traditional markets and margin requirements can rapidly spill into tokenized commodities. So it's an interesting one, but I think from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing in there, on the news and obviously all of these large fund managers and so forth, they're all saying that, the transition from precious metals, could spill into cryptocurrency, obviously in the next few months. So we'll see how that goes. But I think because of the Fed chair now being announced by President Donald Trump, things are going to calm down, which is good to see. Cathie Woods loading up on Coinbase and Circle as crypto fear grips Wall Street. Buying opportunity. Cathie Woods executed a series of high volume trades, significantly increasing its exposure to Coinbase and Circle and Robinhood as digital asset markets grapple with heightened volatility. The buying spree comes as Bitcoin struggles to maintain support above the 78K level, having retraced nearly 40% from its late 2025 peak. And Cathie Woods, a persistent bull on disruptive innovation, appears to be utilizing the downturn to rebalance her flagship ETFs ARK K, ARK W, ARK F at what she describes as deep value points. According to the daily trade disclosures, ARK purchased 363,000 shares of Robinhood, valued approximately $36 million. The acquisition followed by a sharp 9% decline of Robinhood stock. There you go. So, whatever. CFTC's I apologize, says the crypto bill would make US gold standard for regulation. And the bill aims to provide clear rules, including token taxonomy, to distinguish securities from commodities. And the CFTC would set clear guidelines, embrace innovation, and defend its authority in court if needed. Well, those days from the SEC and CFTC are gone. Price prediction, the NASDAQ is climbing as well. Again, it's up 0.56 on the session, extending its gains after US stocks started February on a firmer footing. Investors pushed equities higher, following encouraging manufacturing data and trade tensions ease. And the advance came despite lingering volatility from last week's sharp moves in the precious metals, which was just nuts what's going on in the moment. I am big on the tech sector, and I do invest in a couple of funds as well that do write some covered calls and options. So it's fascinating. Get Money Never Sleeps, by the way. Let's go over to X and we'll end up on here, guys. So I need to get out of the office. Let's listen to Brad Garlinghouse, guys.
I feel malicious and manipulative and trying to get us to settle to create a narrative that Ripple's been a bad actor in some way.
I don't think people can fully empathize with how crazy of an adversity.
Particularly because I feel like the SEC was, I feel, malicious and
100% they were. That was an old interview with Brad. The S&P, Peter Tuchman right here. The S&P has lost $725 billion in market cap today. That's just wild. Flare Networks launches FXRP, enabling XRP holders to earn yield or use XRP as collateral to borrow other assets. I wouldn't do this. Don't stake it. Don't do anything. Don't put your cryptocurrency anywhere. Those days are gone. I just don't trust anything. All right, so just be careful if you're doing that. Ray Dalio, have a listen to this.
Of the end of the monetary system as we know it. It's not just the US dollar, it's the fiat monetary currencies. So the UK, the Euro, Japan, China all have similar debt problems and so on, and are dealing with the same interrelationships, which is the reason you're seeing gold being chosen by the central banks. They want a currency. Gold has always been the main currency, and it's the only non-fiat currency, in other words, not the currency that can't be printed, that they want. And so that's why you're seeing central banks move and sovereign wealth funds move to gold, and that's the nature of the shift of the monetary system. It's the
interesting. Hang on, let me just pause this. My computer's frozen right now. But yes, he's talking about the monetary system ending and changing. We'll see where this goes. President Donald Trump, listen to this.
The digital asset capital of the world. We did the Genius Act for stablecoins. Many of the people standing up here are working on the Clarity Bill to market structure. Yeah. And we're bringing
they're trying to get it done. I hope it does get done as well, because it's going to finally bring things, finally get things moving. Ondo, 225 trillion is waiting to be tokenized. Let me just turn up my computer volume here because it's a bit quiet.
Largest, most liquid markets in the world, but access to them is still constrained by things like geography, market hours, platform fragmentation, and legacy rails. But by tokenizing these assets, we can begin to address these issues and take another step closer to our mission of bringing financial markets on chain. This opportunity is also
I'm bullish on Ondo. I will say I'm bullish on Ondo Finance. I think it's great. Elon Musk now valued at $852 billion, which is incredible. He works his ass off. I'm sorry, but he worked for that. He's been through a lot. That's awesome. Congrats to him. Very, very cool. Gold prices surged back above $5,000 an ounce, which is crazy. That is it, guys. Go join EarnCurve. Register KYC, and I will apply a 10% discount to your trading. If you're not trading on the platform, go do that. Start trading. And of course, stay tuned for this update. If I can make it happen, I will. And it's going to be revolutionary for crypto trading. That is for sure. Take care of yourselves, guys. Speak soon. Peace out. Bye.